Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to It's Something to Do with Pete and Will. We promise it's something to do. Welcome back to another episode of It's Something to Do with Pete and Will, and we promise this is something to do.
Both for you and for us.
We are doing it.
Less for you, more for us. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We have 10 episodes that are currently, who knows when this is going to air. No clue when this gets put up. I have a feeling they're being put up out of order, but we've got 10 episodes up. Not a two comments on the first video, which that doesn't really count, but not a single comment since then.
Exactly. We're killing it. But however, like I said in the last episode, for some reason, this is a smash hit. It's no segue Tuesday. So we're going to bounce around.
It's Thursday.
Embrace yourself. These come out on Tuesday. Well,
yeah. Oh, I didn't know we were pretending that it was the day. I didn't know.
Every time. Listen, get on board.
You'd think, having been a professional, you would think that I would just roll with it, but
no, yeah, it's yes and it's all the improv.
It's Tuesday
things. You
okay.
know. Yes, that's
so.
And
how was your Monday? What's on?
So because
because
it's no segue Tuesday. Brace yourself, Will Marfuji.
Let's go.
The 4th, not you.
Huh? Oh,
your son.
Oh, all right. Well, you're addressing my son.
He's got to brace himself.
Oh yeah, no, he has to brace himself on everything. He's a baby. Can't even support his own head yet.
And first page down. How's it going? What's going on?
Oh man, he's decided that he doesn't want to sleep at night anymore.
I get that. Yes,
he wants to sleep until like 1 or 2 a.m. and then he's like, no, I'm good. I'll pass out from like 1 to 8 in the afternoon.
Right.
And then I'll sleep a little bit after that. And then from there, I'm just, so the last 3 days, with the exception of today, last night going into this morning, I have been awake at 4 or 5 in the morning, trying to like coddle him into like bottle and sleep.
Why did I do this?
Unsuccessfully. It is. I mean, I will say a lot of people have, super chill, super easy babies. And after 2, we've just had to accept the fact that like, we don't have that. We don't have super chill, super easy babies. Our babies are like a challenge until, hopefully, 2 months. Like 2 months was when Ava turned the corner and became a chill baby. And the first 2 months were like, holy shit, man. It was like getting punched in the face multiple times a day, every day. And he's not too bad, but it's still like, fuck, bro, I'm exhausted. Please stop screaming. Please stop crying.
I'm in my 40s.
I don't have.
Do you not know what it is to be in your 40s?
I don't have the energy for this anymore.
Yeah.
I like in our 20s and 30s, it was like I could operate on little to no sleep for multiple days in a row and only take a small hit in my cognition and my productivity. But as an adult, it's like one day you're like, I'm okay. 2 days you're like, oh my God.
Well, what's funny is last Friday I got up from a nap and that's what happened. That's actually what happened. I got up from a nap and I called Will and I said, oh my God, I missed the show. I literally called and left a message saying I missed the show. And then during the message, I realized it's Friday. And then I said, oh shit, it's
Never
Friday. It's not Thursday. And I hung up and then I texted you and I said, oh my God, We both are probably having the same kind of brain because I haven't been sleeping. You haven't been sleeping. And
that's funny. Oh my God.
I but I left that exact message. Like,
I know when
hey,
I heard it.
Sorry, I missed it. You want to do it tomorrow? I'm like, oh shit, it's Friday.
It was fun to hear the realization though of like, wait, what day is wait, is it Friday? Wait, never mind.
This pandemic has really kind of worked us over as far as time is concerned.
Oh,
but I'm not kidding you that I woke up and I looked and it was 2:30. And given when we shoot this, I was like, oh my God, I forgot. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Something to do.
Nothing got done.
Holy shit.
I haven't had a feeling like that probably since college, where like I've woken up and been like, oh, I was supposed to be somewhere. Actually, that's not true. There were several times over the course of my working, the last 20 years, where I would wake up and be like, oh, I was supposed to be somewhere. I'm supposed to be somewhere in 30 minutes.
There are things happening and I'm not there doing it.
I gotta go. But I haven't missed anything probably since I was in college.
Yeah, neither have I. Well, given just how our jobs worked, you have to be where you have to be at that time.
Yeah.
And if you aren't, it's a very big problem.
You miss it.
And so if you have a mind that is constantly reminding you of anxious things or whatever it may be, you walk into, you'll wake up and be like, I got to be somewhere. People depending on me. Because in your mind, you're thinking there's 22 people standing in a room and I'm not there
waiting for me.
This isn't happening. I don't know what to do.
It's gonna happen, but if you're not there to do it, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, the problem is you and I exclusively, if we're not there, it doesn't happen. So those people are just standing there.
But for half of you, the half of you that you're supposed to be working with, they're like, well, you missed your chance. Sorry.
Yeah, well, they're standing there. Like, imagine that they set up one of those, like we had talked about before, one of those Christmas displays, and they spent hours putting all this stuff together. And there's so many different toys and all that stuff that they, we're going to display and shoot and all those kind of things. If we're not there, it doesn't happen. So it gives you a little bit of anxiety.
Sure. Oh yeah, no.
You're like, no, I gotta. So you wake up at 3:00 in the morning, like, oh, I gotta go shoot that teddy bear.
Are you still having like stress, like work stress dreams like that?
No. Well, I don't know. I'd have to actually think about. During this, there's been times like, oh geez, I gotta be somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, clearly, I mean, I just on Friday, I was like, oh, I got to be somewhere. I mean, I was awake and called you.
Yeah.
Like I had to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And do something.
That's very generous of you, considering this something that you needed to call and be like, I missed it. Whatever are we going to do?
Well,
we can just do it anytime. We can do it anytime.
Well, I know, but we have a routine.
Funny. I was so confused. I was like,
you didn't respond though.
Well, here's the thing. I don't actually listen to my messages. Oh. I just read the printout that it said that when you click on because it's like, that's what I mean. So I'm reading it and it's in like broken English and it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Oh, I see. When in actuality, I articulate what I'm saying.
And then I go back because I'm so confused. It's like, gotta do the show. We gotta do it. And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? We just did it yesterday. So then I did listen to it and I was like, I found it very funny, but you're right. I didn't respond. I mean, I got, very few people are getting responses from anything from
dude. I totally get it. And I wait for
especially
this
since you
to give you shit about it.
Especially since you figured it out on your own. I was like, hey, it's all right. He got it. He got there eventually. He doesn't need me to tell me, it's Friday. We did it yesterday.
Right. It's so funny. I came out and I told Bridget, I said, was like, I just left Will a message about yesterday's podcast that I thought was happening now. She's like, what's wrong? I was like, I don't know. I just woke up out of a fog and then thought, oh shit, I missed this smash hit of a show.
Literally single digits of people.
Yeah, we've got tens of followers.
We're not even hearing that one this coming Tuesday. It wouldn't have been for another several weeks.
You know, what's funny is I've been I don't know if we talked about this before, but so I've been reaching out in different not chat rooms necessarily, but different areas in order to get this going. Mm-hmm. And one of them, it's called Clapper, and I never knew what Clapper was. And so I just would blanket follow everybody that came on, or anything that came on. Just follow. And it's our logo, and it says, hey, tune in, we're on YouTube. And we're married to two publicists, by the way, who are saying we can't do anything for you.
Who would tell you that that's a waste of time?
Well, here's what happened. So I ended up clicking on one of the things that they were doing. I'm already leaking because this is hilarious. But it turned out to be very interesting, as it's a group of people that talk at night about kind of what's going on in their lives. Mm-hmm. And this story builds, so let it build for a second. So there's a woman named Jess who kind of runs it, and she's kind of the therapist for this thing. And it turns out that it's kind of like a therapy thing. And so I'm sitting there listening to this group of people.
Found this group but AA, and I don't know what that means, but I thought it would be a good place to publicize our podcast. These people are getting up and they're telling stories about their darkest moments in life. And when it came to me, I said,
that's exactly what's happening.
What the fuck
and I'll drink to that. I have no idea. I've never even heard of it.
I'm gonna have to look this
so
up.
Anyway,
now first it's like, did you get on an app where the Taliban recruits people and you're trying to tell them to listen to our don't tell them our names? Is there snot coming out of your nose? There was like the FBI busted a bunch of criminals by creating an app that was with untraceable messages, that the criminals thought they were untraceable messages. And it turns out like they're just hosting the server. So all these criminals are like conversing through this app that they think is dead. So, but meanwhile, the FBI is reading every single message because they built the fucking app. Is that what you were trying to promote this on?
It's so,
like, I don't care about your
funny.
Podcast, but do you want to?
It gets better. Oh, you got me. Don't get me
a rocket launcher.
Don't get me mid sip.
No.
Holy cow. I'm allergic to comedy. So yeah, anyway, but they are actually very sincere and they're nice people. And now I've gotten on and talked to them like 3 days in a row.
So now story short, I'm in therapy.
Now I'm part of this group of people, and they are really sincere, and the guys are really sincere. And one of them had a situation, and he had lost his leg, and just through circumstance, I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to blow up their spots, but I sent him $1,000 because he didn't have any money. Yeah, exactly. He didn't ask. It was completely just, he didn't have anything and I had something. So I sent it to him.
Either very nice of you, if he's watching this, And if
they're watching,
you got taken. Did you get scammed?
No, not at all. Because
Okay.
he didn't ask. It wasn't a situation where he asked for something.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
You
volunteered. Well, that's nice.
Yeah, because as we were having these discussions and going through I guess you'd call it a session. It's not it's not official or anything, but you're just kind of talking about what's going on in your life. Those guys have been ridden hard and put away wet, and I'm talking about people. This time it's those guys. I'm not talking about a saddle. They have been kicked in the stones, and so yeah, I told them, well, yeah, here you go. Now, anybody watching this, that doesn't apply to everybody. And just so you know, there isn't there. That's not something that happens for everyone.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah. So I end up talking with them.
Well, that's nice. You're in a group. You're in a group now.
Well, but it's not an official anything.
Not yet. Well, you got to give it a name.
Well, I'm not even going to name it.
What was the name of the app called?
Clapper. Yeah. I'm not gonna name what it is.
No. Yeah, you want to maintain people's privacy, especially if they're talking about stuff like, that, and they think it's a safe space. You don't want to be like, hey, guess what I heard on this app? Video community.
Yeah, but the woman that kind of runs it, her name is Jess, and she's an absolute sweetheart. And I told them, because what she's doing now, because she's got thousands of followers, is she's taking clips from this and gonna put it up on her site.
Oh, all right. Well, that's nice of her. Hey,
that's
we'll send her $1,000 then.
I told her I'd Venmo. I mean, I pay everybody $50 an hour. That's kind of where
everybody's getting paid. Everybody, all the listeners of the show are getting paid. You heard it, people.
You get a car.
You're on me about putting stuff on Instagram. That's going on my Instagram. Listen to this show, and he will send you $1,000. That's
God.
Truth. The truth.
Good story, though.
That is. Yeah. I got to look that website up, or that app. It's an app?
Yeah, it's an app.
Okay.
And you can find me at Peter with a lot of numbers behind it.
I'm not signing up for it.
You need to get on board, Will.
I'm not doing that. I don't.
Listen, these people love you.
Well, thank you.
They don't know you,
but
they love you.
I don't think that's true. Well, they won't when they watch this.
Yeah, they will. I told them I'd give them a shout out.
Oh, that's nice of you. And that's nice of them. Well, thank you guys for watching, then. Thank you for watching, and enjoy Pete's money. What else is happening?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, it's called the Midnight Oasis Show is the name of that show, actually, which is interesting. Here, fill time. Oh, I was going to talk about the last episode. You had to bump out, but we were going to talk about kind of the Hollywood aspect of what that is, and and the again, it's in No Transition Tuesday, or what do we call it? No Segue Tuesday.
Sure.
What I had written down was that what's interesting about, so let's say we're sitting in a studio and something like that, and somebody says they're 5 minutes out.
Mm-hmm.
That means a half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
If they say they're 15 minutes out, they haven't left their house.
Yeah, it's not even close.
And if they say they're an hour out, there's a chance they're not going to show up.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of get used to all of these little sayings, like, well, yeah, that's a soft yes. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? or that is a hard maybe. You're like, what? I don't
know.
What's a hard
yes
maybe?
is kind of a maybe, but a hard
are
maybe
we
is a
doing
no.
this?
It's just,
does that mean it's actually happening, or?
Yeah, they all get bumped down as far as importance. So a soft yes is a maybe, and a hard maybe is a no.
And a hard yes is a maybe.
Yeah. It's all any yes is a maybe. Any yes is a maybe.
Right.
Because it's not dependent on,
Yeah.
It's dependent on the whims of whomever you're there to talk to or do whatever with.
Yeah.
If they all of a sudden decide, yeah, I don't feel like doing this, then they're not going to fucking do it.
Yeah. I'm totally in. They say it on Tuesday. It has to be done on Thursday. And then on Thursday, they're like, oh,
no,
I was so close to wanting to do that.
It's the closest analogy that I can make is making plans with a friend or anybody, making plans a week out. And then on the day that you're supposed to execute said plans, you're like, ugh, I'm exhausted. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then calling with an excuse and be like, yeah, I can't do it. That's the same exact thing happens.
This show,
it's that. It's the exact same thing. Yeah. Except you're there. Hey. You're already there. You're at the restaurant. Yeah. You're ordered. You've got wait staff around you being like, oh, we brought you the thing. And then you get the call. Oh, you're not coming at all. Okay.
Well, those are rough.
I'm already there. We're already set up, and we've been waiting for hours, and it's not happening.
At least tell the woman before she put her makeup on.
Pack it up and go home.
Yeah. Hey, Bridget, we're not going to go do that. She's like, but I fluffed. Yeah. I got all fluffy. I'm like, yeah, I don't. Yeah. No.
Man, sorry.
I've just decided I'm not doing it.
That's what doing our jobs was. A lot of doing our jobs was, and waiting. So much waiting.
So much waiting.
Waiting.
We talked about that in the last episode. Like, well, what did we do? We just talk to each other. Like, who talks to each other anymore?
Yeah, or you'd be there for 7 hours. You talk for the first 35, 40 minutes, and after that, you're like, well, I'm out of shit. I'm out of stuff.
Yeah,
I guess we'll just stare at the floor now for a while.
Or when they say pivot, I hate that word, pivot. Like, you're gonna have to pivot, and that means you're not going to get them at all. So we're going to pivot. And I said, does that mean that Leonardo DiCaprio is not coming in? Yeah, we're going to pivot and do the producer. You're like, okay,
he's gonna be like, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, we thousands and thousands of dollars were spent for Leonardo DiCaprio to be here, and we're talking to who? Yeah, you just got to pivot. I hate pivot. Or you say, or like if something's going wrong with us on our end, like there's an issue with the cameras or lighting and everything. I'm like, well, can we get 15 minutes for lighting?
Yeah,
because something broke.
Because somebody went to craft service and never came back.
Yeah, something's very wrong. Yeah, we just need 15 minutes for lighting.
Just real quick, we're just dialing it in.
They can, can they hit another outlet real quick? Because we're pivoting.
Oh God, I know all this is giving me like.
That's giving me anxiety.
Starting to sweat a little bit. I'm starting to sweat thinking about about these things. Those were for the most part, a fairly plug and play job. It was not crazy stressful. I mean, there were definitely elements of it that were just like anything. But
you have to know those phrases in that environment to be like, okay, well,
here's what that means. Yeah, I mean, after anything, after 15 years, you kind of figure out. You can read between the lines of who's like what's happening, how it's happening, how it's going to play out. I mean, that was one of the things that, we had been there for a very long time, and you'd been in the field for a long time, and you kind of got a feel for the tricks that people use to postpone or delay or whatever it is. And, you could look at a we would call them shoot sheets, but essentially a press release saying, here's who's coming to this event. And you'd be like, yeah, that person's not coming. That person's not coming. This person's not talking. They're not talking.
Yeah.
And you just know because you've done it a 1,000 times, if not more. And
yeah, well, again, they'd say that we're sitting there waiting for somebody, and then you get on Google, and that person is on their Instagram in France.
Even before that, we are like, you get assigned to the thing, and you're like, this is going to be a bust. And they're like, you got to be more positive. Like, yeah, I know I would be, but I just know that how this is going to turn out. We might as well not even go. No, we're still going to go. You're like, all right. Well, when I come back with a tape full of nothing, I'm going to fucking tell you I told you so.
But the funniest one, if you don't mind my saying what your subject line was on an email.
Yeah.
You got a little bit of shit for it.
Yeah.
You're like, this was a shit show.
This is a shitter. This is an absolute shitter.
It was a shitter. Like, would you mind not saying that? You're like, well, but it was.
We refrain from calling it that directly because his email goes to everythody in the company.
Yeah.
And here you are saying.
That's exactly what it was.
That's what it was.
I
think at a certain point got like, it was like
you're a little surly.
Very blunt about things like this. Because if you can't read that and be like,
well, what's the worst?
For example, if it's like, we're expecting, and this is, I'm just sort of fictionalizing something. We're expecting Tom Cruise, Angelina Jolie, and Tom Hanks, and then there's like a bunch of other names. Those are the names that you want to come, and then it's like who? Some I don't know, low level YouTube people at the bottom, or at the time it'd be like low level, like Survivor 34 contestant Nick or whoever the fuck. And then on your shoot sheet comes back and you're like, who did you talk to? You're like, I talked to Nick, the Survivor contestant. You're like, well, what about Angelina Jolie? You're like, if I had talked to her, I would have mentioned it in the fucking sheet. She didn't come.
Well,
so that's why I got right. This is a shitter. Nobody showed up except for Nick.
Yeah, but during the shoot, you'd see one of the executives walk by and walk into the building, and you're like, "Oh,
you wanted to go to a party.
That's why we're here.
You wanted to go to a party, and I'm standing out here on a Friday night. Great, yeah,
yeah. Again, that's all fictionalized. This may or may not.
Oh my god.
Or you're sitting.
This is sort of a, even these sort of like work problems are a very like hyper centralized group of people that had these problems. It was people like us that worked at our company, people from other entertainment news outlets where you sit on a red carpet and wait for other people to show up. Most people don't have that experience
we had
in Hollywood. We're kind of a unique situation.
Oh man, like set visits, you can't predict anything that's going to happen at a set visit.
No.
And so they do the best they can in order to get the people from the show to in a timely manner, et cetera, et cetera. And then they say they broke for lunch. And like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So that's an hour.
Yep.
And then they don't offer you lunch. So I just sit there.
Just sitting there in the dark.
Like, oh my God, I've been here for 5 hours.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, because when you're an entertainment news outlet or an EPK crew, electronic press kit crew, you're the bottom rung that day. You're the bottom rung. Like their number one priority is making.
Well, they've got to shoot the show.
They've got to shoot their show. They've got to schedule. They've got to get shit done. Mm-hmm. And so if they're like, oh my God, yes, you guys are the most important thing today, it sets their whole day off, and that really fucks their whole week. And so yeah, you're just like, all right, well, you just got to wait. And if you got 3 minutes with somebody, you thought you were gonna get 10, and you get 3 minutes with somebody, then that's what you get. You get 3 minutes, and you got to make it work.
What are you wearing? Okay, see ya.
On a set visit, yeah. My costume. These aren't my clothes.
Do you get to take any of that stuff home?
You take anything from set?
Yeah. We've asked those questions.
Yeah. Oh God. it's so rote. It's so rote after a certain point. Because even when you try to get creative, like I would remember specifically trying to get creative with questions multiple times and being met with a blank stare from an actor who's just like, I don't follow. You're like, never mind.
What's your workout routine?
Never mind.
So I'm seeing you on Instagram. But
it was different. Facebook. I feel like now, for whatever, like in the last few years, performers were more adept at sort of talking about whatever, more likely to go with the flow. When we were like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was not that. It was not that way at all. Like they kind of wanted to do what they wanted to do and not venture outside their little box in most times.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm assuming during the pandemic, everybody's realizing, things, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, and comedians specifically are, when you go that long doing comedy and being on tours and things like that, and then all that ends, like, oh shit, I bought a $10 million house and I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of a panic.
Sure. Yeah.
And they get a podcast.
Yes.
Or they put all their energy into a podcast.
That's true.
It's not like us. We do this just for fun, just for us. It's something to do.
Yeah.
But we're not trying to sell this. I mean, we have our sponsors coming at the end, of course, but
yes. Yeah. The other thing is in everybody having a podcast now, and there are people who have varying levels of skill at it, but
ours are reflective in our comments and our followers
when
please comment. And
when you're even listening to like a celebrity podcast, it's like, man, some of these are not good.
They're rough. Yeah,
they're not good. And then some of them are quite good. Some of them actually turn out very well, but
it's tough...
I was listening to what was I listening to? I was listening to Smartless with Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes.
I listened to that. Yeah.
And a couple weeks ago, they were interviewing Gwyneth Paltrow, and all their questions were about her life and her kids, which maybe Gwyneth is like more apt to talk about now. But I was like,
vagina candle.
I was like, it's funny because they're asking the kind of shit that we would ask, and then you get a nasty note from the publicist afterwards, or they'd come in and be like, "Can we talk about the project?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, of course." Although maybe Gwyneth has always been cool about talking about that stuff, but yeah, it's kind of funny. I found it funny that three celebrities who, if I were to like ask Will Arnett about his divorce, I feel like he probably wouldn't take it so well. But then there he is.
Did he talk about that?
I feel like they talked about her, something along those lines. But he brings it up freely. I mean, I'm sure he's in a much better place.
Well, that's the point of this environment,
right? But I find it slightly ironic where like celebrities are asking each other stuff like that.
Well, it's a lot more formal
10 years ago. That's
in
true.
that
You're
environment.
absolutely right. Yeah.
Whereas with this, we're just hacking around,
people kind of like
being clunky with this stuff. I mean, it's a huge hit, which is great, and so I appreciate that. But and we have all the wonderful things that make us look good and all that stuff. But it's the content, Will, that we have to really work on.
I'm lost. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about anymore. Sorry.
Keep up.
I get zoned out.
No, but the point is in an environment like this, you can really kind of get down and dirty with the conversations with somebody and be
it doesn't
just
feel
totally
like
honest.
It doesn't feel like you're making a show. Whereas if it was like traditional media, it would feel like you're doing a show.
Right, exactly.
Lights, there's a camera, there's a guy behind the kid. It's like a whole setup. The publicist is leaning over your shoulder.
But if I were to turn the camera around, I'm getting hit by five lights. But the point is, that in that environment, it's so formal, and you've got somebody that brought you there, and you have to go through somebody to get you there, and the agent has to do all this stuff, and the talent department has to all that kind of stuff. Whereas us sitting here, We're just chatting.
Yes.
Until then.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know.
No, what I'm saying
to me, the difference between
yes.
working at E and working at Pod. I understand.
Your point was that Gwyneth was very open during their podcast
they're
when they wouldn't
open.
have been. Yeah,
they're also open.
So
but I still
because this is a warming environment.
I understand.
You're in a safe space.
I get it. I know that.
We've got tens of people that follow us.
Well, not literally us. She's not on this show.
No, not her, but I'm just saying, there's tens of people that care.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because
that's
I don't know.
That's a very interesting thing to say.
And then you're talking about another thing.
And I'm talking about
like
Gwen.
We're missing.
I'm talking about you saying that Gwen was open, and I'm describing why, because this is a scenario where you can just be open.
Yeah. No, I get it. It feels like you're on a Zoom with your friends.
Are you having a stroke?
I don't know what no. You're explaining something to me that I already understand.
Yeah. But
they're like, and then there's 10 people listening to the show.
Tens of people watching this that we need to
talking
walk
about
through.
I'm talking about something else.
Don't get me going, man. I took my Dayquil.
You already blew snot out of your nose. I don't know how much worse it could get.
Oh,
I understand that. I also, but I still can't help feel every now and then when I hear somebody divulge something incredibly personal on one of these shows.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would have gotten in a lot of trouble if I had asked that. And I understand the ways in which it's different and the ways in which, something like a podcast, not our show, because we don't have celebrity guests.
We can.
Is different. I don't fucking want them. Is different.
You want celebrity guests?
I'm not interested.
Really? You really wouldn't?
I don't know, man. Maybe, but I don't know. It feels like a whole thing, and I don't really want to.
Listen, I'm the one taking care of it.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't want to. I for like a host.
It's all on my shoulders.
For like a host of reasons, I'm not that into it. But but if you really want to do it,
well, no. I mean, listen, you're 40% of the 60.
I'm like 30% of it. Yeah, I don't know. No, that's my. I don't know. That's not really that interesting to talk about on air.
No. So the latest thing, again, no transition to go on to Bridget's computer, was dandruff.
What?
I don't usually have dandruff, but this morning I walked in and I was doing this, and I think it was probably hairspray from the last show, because it was probably the last time I bathed. But there was dandruff, and so when I saw it, I went over to her computer and just went. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You're all over my computer." I said, "Well, I got to get something on your computer for the show." You got balls, a toenail.
Oh God, no. No.
Today's dandruff.
Oh God.
Yeah. But I actually don't have it, which is interesting.
Says the guy who rubbed it all out all over his keyboard.
Her, not mine.
On her keyboard, whatever.
Yeah, this is mine.
Oh my God. Well,
what's going on with McKenna? How are you guys doing?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
After I just emptied my purse about my dandruff.
Your dandruff.
I didn't get the response I wanted.
What did you want?
A laugh.
Oh.
You dick.
Disgusting. I can't support that.
Well, of course not.
What is going on? Man, I don't know. We're just trying to keep our heads above water with these kids. That's what's going on. It's that 24 hours a day, going to bed at like 9:45 at night, so that when you got to wake up and do the feeding at 2, you're you've gotten some sleep instead of no sleep. It's not terribly exciting to explain it to another person, but having a baby for the first 2 months is like, as I said earlier in this episode, it's like it's like getting punched in the face a lot. It's like getting punched in the face a lot. Every second of the
sometimes
day.
You just get punched in the face.
Yeah. And then getting peed on.
Yeah, exactly.
And then having, like, there was a day where I changed my shirt like 4 times because every time I was holding the kid, the boy, he would explode his diaper and it would go onto my shirt. And I was like, oh, all right, well, there's another shirt. Here's another.
Fortunately, you have a lot of gray shirts.
Yes, exactly. These, I actually think I'm just wearing the same ones over and over again on the show because it's like, I don't cycle through my clothes. It's like whatever's on top, that's what's getting worn. And it's because I'm doing laundry every day or every other day.
Did you actually make me snot?
I swear to God, I saw snot. Well, it was when you got onto your terrorist website to try to promote the podcast. And sent somebody $1,000, and
you got me when I was taking a sip, and if I did, I mean,
my back went out.
We save the jokes for after it's out of my mouth, because if you're going to be funny, which you're very funny. Oh yeah. Well, maybe it's relatable. I mean, we're sitting here fucking around.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny. He actually made me snot.
It was horrific. Yeah, you didn't have to artificially rub dandruff on anybody's keyboard. You could have just gotten genuine, authentic, 100% prime Peter mucus all over the keyboard.
You know how hard it is to make me do that? Like, actually, that was a perfect stupid joke. It was perfect, and at the perfect moment. So we're leaving that in. Antoine, don't take that out.
Everything gets left in, right? There's not anything that gets cut out of this. Yeah, I didn't think so.
We are beginning to end, whether you like it or not. This is how this goes. And comment. Ask us a question. Anything. Do anything would really be great. So far, it's all in countries, again, that don't just comment.
It's just happening in a void, which I'm now in since the light behind me went out.
What's that?
The light behind me went out. So now I'm literally in a void, which is exactly where this podcast is taking place.
Let's see. Well, that's useless. I talked to a guy, a friend who he was describing, we were kind of describing just things that happened in your life, and I realized that I'm just milquetoast. Even the stuff that we've described, like, TPing and things like that,
putting forks in people's lawns.
Yeah, that's nothing. His brother was a police officer, and he stole his police car, and his brother had to jump into his car and chase him in his car as he's driving the police car.
Jesus.
You can't beat that.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine.
Like, hey Kyle, where are your keys? Why? No reason. Just gonna lock the door. Okay. Gone.
Oh my God.
Kyle, son of a bitch.
Well,
Dale stole my car.
It's the one time you could shoot your brother and have a good excuse for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, look, just in the leg. It's just in the leg. You shouldn't have stolen the car. Sorry, brother.
I think we may have talked about this, but I never had better aim than when I was throwing something at my brother. He could be 50 yards away.
And you could
right in the back of the head.
Oh my God.
Like a tennis ball, you just ding, ding. But he was younger than I was, so he would use like matchback cars. The little matchbox. Those things hurt. Like
they're metal. They're metal.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still are, but back when we were kids, they were
Back
better.
then. I actually wish I had them because they're probably worth something. They're worth something, Will.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
this continuing to be interesting to anybody at all?
What? Oh, we're talking about Matchbox cars being worth money? No.
Another non-transition.
Why am I hearing my echo? Turn this down a little bit. I had a sister, so I didn't throw anything at her. When I was a kid, my dad was like, she can do anything to you, but you don't get to do anything to her. And if I
that's true.
I'll fucking kill you. I was like,
oh yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
So there was good. So you walked in one day and you had a bullet wound and you're like, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I let her shoot me.
I just took it. Exactly. So if she was a cop and I had stolen her car, then yeah, she could have shot me in the leg. And my dad would have been like, well, you had that coming. No retaliation.
Yeah.
Oh, he's muted himself. He didn't want to blow his nose on the mic.
Even though it's relatable. The other thing I was going to talk about is just like so for those of you who don't know, I've been shooting for many years, and there's a culture that comes with the group of people that do that, and it's a very interesting culture.
Shooting camera shooter or shooting guns.
Yeah, shooting television.
Yeah,
and within that culture, there's a very interesting way that people interact with each other. Meaning that one of the guys that we worked with one time stole a camera from another guy during a shoot. And then his excuse was he was drunk. So this is what we're dealing with.
Oh my God.
I had a guy.
It does come with a type. It does come with a type.
Yeah. And I never really blended in with that type. There was another time a guy, he put a racist sticker on the front of our production van.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just very racist.
Yeah.
Then called pretending to be the person from the place where we were shooting, our boss, to say that they've got a racist on their staff.
Oh God.
And I went and I found the sticker. I was like, come on. You gotta be kidding me. Like they're funny, but that's not that funny.
now it's like you'd be fired. You'd be fired for sure.
In retrospect, whatever.
Yeah.
Then there was an audio guy that stole one of the vans and he was living in it. And he was apparently had his child in there as well. And spilled milk or formula all over the van, but we didn't know. Until maybe
it started to smell.
Until the whole thing, it was just it reeked.
Oh God.
Like, come on, guys.
That's brutal.
You're getting paid.
Yeah.
Act like it.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing at that point? Oh my God. I know I remember being on the press line for, I think it was 300, maybe.
I think I shot that.
So then maybe you'll remember this.
Yes.
A camera guy from another outlet got into a shouting match with a security guard and then got thrown off the carpet.
Yes. I know his name.
Was like, they were like, oh my God, could you imagine going to work and shouting at somebody to the point where they're like, okay, if you keep doing this, I'm going to throw you out of here. And
that took a lot, by the way. I mean, they put up with a lot because it's a pretty tumultuous situation on a red carpet.
And being like, okay, well, where did all of our footage go? What do you mean you like, even for like, coming back to the office and having to explain that to somebody and not thinking like, and he didn't get fired. I don't think.
I know. No, he didn't.
They transitioned him into another role.
Yes.
And you're like, holy shit, that's bananas. To the point where you're like imagine if I got into a screaming argument with somebody like, hey, how come nobody's asking questions on this tape? Well, because Will got into an argument with the security guard and got thrown out. Yeah. Well,
I can't.
What are you gonna do? We're definitely not gonna fire him for that.
Those are the most
crazy to me.
Those are the most interesting stories, is the things that we've seen happen. One of the photographers punched, one of the women photographers at an event.
Fucking crazy.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
and look, she was contentious, but there is never a situation where being contentious
is like
becomes physical.
You're at work.
Yeah.
You're all at work.
And never.
I understand shouting at each other. You don't like each other. You guys have known each other for like decades. Yeah, I'll fucking hate each other, whatever. Yeah. But then to assault another person over a spot, you're like, oh my God.
And it happened all the time.
This is bananas.
It's like doing the stars at the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Oh my God.
They were just all over each other. And I was like, no, I'm okay over here. I can see what's happening.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
It's fine. I mean, what are we doing?
Them.
We're not curing cancer here.
No. I don't know, man. Yeah, it made me wonder, like, did you get paid per photo, or was it, like if your organization sends you out?
So a friend of mine worked for a major organization, and Bridges actually hired him a couple times. He's a very good photographer, and Perez Hilton was coming down the red carpet, and I mean, this happened in my life. Do you think I can tell the story?
Yeah, go for it.
So he got mad at Perez because Perez was using photos from other people that they had taken, and then, putting rude emojis on them or whatever it was at that time. And since he's apologized for doing that, but
that was his thing.
He was walking down, and one of the photographers got really, really pissed and was very confrontational.
Wow.
With him.
Yeah. That's interesting. That's sort of an interesting
because they're licensed
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your celebrities have been like grabbing paparazzi photos of them and putting them on their Instagram, and then they're getting sued for it because it's like a trademark image.
Yeah.
Or a copyrighted. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of, I understand that. But if you're like, whatever, Shutterstock or Getty or whatever the fuck, a wire image, I would assume you're getting paid a wage to go to the event and take photos. So whether you're like a little left or a little right, does it really matter? Or it's like, no, this is the spot where I'm gonna get the best photo, because if this is the photo that gets picked up by like whatever, USA Today or whomever, I'm getting an extra bump in pay because of that. So
because I'm looking at my lens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
that's why there's all. That's why
the
for those of you that don't know it, they're screaming at the celebrities. I mean, screaming at them.
Yes,
because they want to have them look at their lens.
Yeah,
where you've got 100 lenses, and so the bigger the celebrity, they'll walk out, and then we'll just kind of walk through. And then you it's funny because after they walk through, all the photographers are pissed off because they didn't get the clean shot. And and so you have to deal with that. But then they come around to where we would be and talk to us, and it was more formal. Whereas if they weren't, and sometimes we were expecting them to stop and talk to us, and they'd walk through the photograph line and not really stop on their mark and just kind of walk through and then just bypass us entirely.
Oh yeah.
And I'd have to just get a shot of them walking
Right by.
just to prove that they aren't doing
This
interviews.
Is what happened.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
They walk. I actually thought about that recently. Because Naomi Osaka, the tennis player, said that she, I guess whatever tennis tournament is happening now, I don't know exactly, but or happening at the date of recording this, she said that talking to the media like really stressed her out, and so that she wasn't going to do it because it negatively impacted her mental health. And basically, the tennis organization fined her 15 grand or whatever, and then she was like, I think this has been blown out of proportion and I'm not going to play in the tournament anymore. And people had really negative. I think there was a lot of support for her, obviously, but there's also a lot of negative reaction to her. And I thought that's so interesting because, and I tweeted about this, like I was at the Salt premiere, the Angelina Jolie movie, where she skipped almost all of the press.
Yeah.
And went to like whatever moviephone.com and maybe like a Fox outlet and maybe a couple of international outlets, and then walked in.
I shot that. We actually left that one.
So she bypassed like dozens of national outlets and went and did one, and then like went in. And
what's interesting,
nobody was like,
also,
"Oh, Angelina, you can't work. You can't do this anymore." This happens all the time in Hollywood. Somebody's like, "Yeah, I don't really want to do this press, so I'm not going to do it." But it doesn't keep them from booking roles.
And also so that the people that know, there's the 4 international outlets that are at the top of the carpet, and meaning like Entertainment Tonight, Extra, E, Access, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And it goes for a long, but then there's like 50 others.
And then after that, there's like national news, like AP, Reuters, CNN, there's big news organizations that have
correct,
on the carpet as well.
But the ones that are at the top of the carpet are those 4, and they had put us at like the 34th position because she was upset with us, because if you say something about a celebrity and they don't like you or whatever it is, they have the wherewithal just to push you way down the carpet, and then they don't talk to you, or they'll just walk by you anyway because they have an issue.
I might be misremembering that, but I don't think that's what happened at the Salt premiere, though.
Oh, well, it may not have been,
because at the Salt premiere, because I remember,
was it in Westwood?
No, it was on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about one that was in Westwood.
Gotcha.
I didn't do that one. But anyway, still the point is that they just push you down the carpet, and the people down the carpet don't get an interview. I mean, they're not going to talk to every outlet. And so we just left. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was interesting in this situation where, people were mad at her for that. And I thought it was like, that's kind of, a strange position to take for.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
It happens all the time in entertainment. I mean, I don't watch a lot of sports. I certainly don't want, consume a lot of sports journalism. So I don't know, what kind of press conferences are happening with, with tennis players or any athlete really at all. The only real experience I have with them is going to them. If we were at one, and partaking in the press conference, participating in it rather. But yeah, I just thought it was such a strange thing for people to get pissed about it when it's like, whatever, everybody fucking skips the press. Who gives a shit? She can still play the fucking game, right? Then who cares?
And Well, they do the same thing with basketball players. And so basketball players will come in and sit down and they'll do the interview, but they'll give one-word answers. Yeah. No. I'm only here because if I don't do it, I'm going to get fined 20 grand.
Oh yeah. That happens I do remember that happening with Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. And they shouldn't, they shouldn't have to do it.
No.
I mean, if you're having a bad day or you had a bad game, I mean, I'm forcing you to do this, but you're not going to get a $20,000 fine.
I will say, and I do remember, and I'm sure there are incredible sports journalists out there who do incredible work.
Yeah.
I do feel like anytime I've been around I've been to a press conference like that, they don't talk to the athlete like a person, like a human. It's kind of like, yeah, when you missed that free throw, what happened there? Like,
yeah, right.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What fucking? I missed.
You personally lost the game.
Why?
Okay. Well, I know that what happened happened.
Ball in the hoop. That's the point. The ball's supposed to go in the hoop. Why wouldn't you just do that? Why wouldn't you have passed it instead if you couldn't do it? You're like, well,
oh, didn't we do? What do we do?
I thought I could do it.
What do we do at the Staples Center? Wasn't that us?
Well, Kobe Bryant's funeral. Oh no, not Kobe Bryant's funeral. The last game of the Lakers' first game back after Kobe's death.
Oh, yeah.
We did at the Staples
and
Center.
So we actually covered one of those.
Yeah,
with LeBron.
Yeah, I remember.
But they were very respectful. I mean,
that was all about
extremely
Kobe.
respectful.
Like that, those press conferences were not really about the game. It was all about Kobe.
Sure.
But yeah, that's sort of my impression of, like, I went to do it was a press day with the Clippers when Lamar Odom got traded to the Clippers.
Yeah.
And, he didn't talk to anybody but us because he saw the E flag and we had a nice conversation. And he
had a Kardashian connection.
Yeah, exactly. So he was on the show at the time and he knew.
That hand gesture was me just being. This is exhausting.
And so that, some of the journalists afterwards were like, you guys had a really good report. Like, do you know him? I was like, no, I mean, I've interviewed him a handful of times, but it's just that we're talking about shit that's not basketball. Like, I don't know. Like, what am I, how is a human being going to answer? Like, how are you going to be ready for the season? Well, I'm going to work out and go to practice and I don't know, hopefully it fucking works out. I always thought it was like sports journalism was kind of funny in that way of like, what are you going to do?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Stop yourself from losing today? I don't know. Get lucky, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I did a lot of the post game interviews when I was much younger, and for the Bullets and the Wizards, and so you'd go in, and I actually worked for the Mystics, which is a women's team, which that was actually really. I'd go into the locker room after a game so I could see the uncomfortability for the women that went into the men's locker room after a game.
Yeah.
Because I had to go into the women's locker room after the game, and there, everybody's just getting out of the shower and things like that. And,
yeah.
Anyway, so you go in there and like George Marason comes to mind. He's 7'7". He was in My Giant with Billy Crystal. And how do you think the game went? It was great. Well, what do you think was the best? We won.
Yeah, exactly. Like this.
We put all of our effort into winning the game, and then that happened.
Yes.
You're like, okay. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like, what else are you expecting him to say? What else are you expecting him to say?
But then you go over to Chris Webber and he's like, yeah, we do the best we can. We went in there and we got it. And we, I took the ball and dunked it. And
threw it in the thing. And we did it.
We're going to not make it to the playoffs, but we're going to try.
It all seems very obvious. Oh, except I will say, save for like the kind of writers personalities who, are great, like watching the Tiger Woods documentary. The ones who are great at kind of like following an athlete over the course of their career and then framing it in an interesting way, or like being able to pull out these, kind of introspective nuggets, nuance, from an athlete. Like that always is very interesting to me, rather than like why didn't you make the kick? You're like,
well, like the day to day.
I don't know. Yeah. Exactly. That to me is like, what are you fucking doing? How do you expect them to answer this question?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, they're, and they're at such a high level of capability. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas the hockey players, most of them are from Canada or, some Eastern Bloc country, and you go in, I don't know. We played hockey.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you got hit in the face 3 times with a puck and you lost 2 teeth. Well, how's that going? Well, I got hit in the face 3 times with a puck and I lost 2 teeth.
How would you be doing?
That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do if you weren't doing hockey or you weren't playing hockey? I'd be plumbing. What can I go? I drive a Toyota.
I would very much like to leave right now.
I mean, you watched the game.
Yeah.
Are people just watching the highlight or just watching the interview after the game?
I don't know. So yeah, I can imagine for, an athlete like that. Plus, who knows, man. I'm sure at those press conferences, there's all kinds of stupid shit being brought up that you're like,
of course,
really? This is what as a woman in tennis, you'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake. Really? That's what you're going with. That's what you're going with.
Yeah. Don't lead with my gender. Everybody's fine.
Don't do that.
It's all good.
That.
You watched it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, this is
didn't quite make it it went too far over the line. Why did you do that? What do you mean why? It was a fucking accident.
It's not going to be perfect.
Why would you make a mistake like that?
How about you get out here? Come on.
Geez.
You come with me. You and I play.
That's essentially what Venus Williams said. She was like, I know. I think it was Venus. I know that it doesn't really matter what you guys ask because I know.
Oh, yeah. That's what she said.
Never do what I do.
Right.
You're like, yeah, you're right.
Come out here.
You try it.
Get in the boxing ring with me and then ask me how it went.
Exactly. Why you didn't slip that punch. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
Because I do this and you're
exactly. Out. I can guarantee you've dropped your keys by your counter, bent down to pick them up and knocked your face on the fucking counter. You couldn't dodge a counter. You're not going to dodge a punch.
Well, this has been a wonderful episode. And again, if this is what we're going for, we nailed it.
We sure did. We did it.
We did it. We talked for an hour, and we should give ourselves a trophy. I'm not sure what it'll be, but I'm making a trophy.
I thought you had a trophy.
I'm going to. Well, I've got an Emmy.
I do not have one of those. We never won.
Mine are local.
It's all right, man. People don't know that when they walk in your house.
That's true.
They all look the same. They might be different sizes, if I'm correct. Maybe they're not, though.
Yeah. Mine are certificates, and there are only 3 of us. But my bosses, they took the trophies, and I said, "Well, can I have one of those?" They're like, "No." I said, "But I'm the one that no." Okay.
I did it. Oh, I gotta go. The kid is awake already.
All right. Well, this is going to be under a music bed or over music bed anyway.
Or just cut this part out. All right, brother. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.